Hi everyone, my name is Shandai, and this is my presentation for Mr. Tchaikovsky Accounting Ethics class. I have chosen to present the general view of copyrights in China. Here is the agenda of my presentation. I will introduce copyright situation changes in China, and I will share about history and the development of copyright protections and the difference between copyright law in China versus copyright law in US. I will also share some limitations and the examples of copyright protections in Chinese society. So after I came to the US in 2011, I overheard from my American friends that people in China do not respect copyrights and patent. And they say there are a lot of copyright infringement in China. For example, pirate software are heavily used, unlicensed CDs are everywhere, and the trademarks are not protected. However, today I want to tell my friends that China has improved a lot in copyright protections. The Wall Street Journal notes that China's courts has seen a 15-fold increase in copyright-related lawsuits from 2006 to 2016. The Chinese tech company Baidu also increasingly spent a lot of money on content protection. By doing this, Baidu has become chief protectors in China from a pellet on the movie and the music industries. This chart has fully demonstrated the improvement Chinese have made during these years. I guess you might ask how Chinese society had this huge changing of copyright protections. I will explain to you by sharing the history and the development of copyright protections in China. I believe people in China did not value the copyright heavily as people in the US because they were under different set of cultural perceptions. Confucian values emphasize on the collective behaviors. It has influenced many people in Chinese society for more than 5,000 years. Copyright to protect individual economic interests and moral rights is at odds with traditional collective Confucian beliefs. For instance, while American students were more likely to stop downloading software when threatened with legal sanctions, Chinese students were far more sensitive to social norms. This is a cultural barrier. However, people communicate more frequently nowadays because of the development of technologies. Chinese people understand and are willing to accept other cultures. This has helped the change of copyright protection in China, I believe. Even though many Chinese people violate copyright because of driving for profits, I believe their behavior improved during these years also because of driving for profits. As it is said by Matthew Dreesen, one of the old rationale for copyright protection is that it provides an incentive to invest. And we are seeing that in play here in China. Copyright law was first introduced in China in 1990 by the Chinese government. This was driven by the need of Chinese business market because Chinese society just opened their market in 1987 to the world. During the period of 1990 to 2021, the copyright law has been amended 3 times for all business needs for both Chinese and foreign investors. I believe the establishment and the development of copyright laws have also helped the change of copyright protection in China. A group of Chinese writers is accusing Google of copyright infringement after the company scanned their books as part of its massive Google Library project. Americans used to hear about China failing to enforce US copyright laws, but not the reverse. I believe you will wonder, is copyright law in China any different from in the United States? I want to say they are not substantial different, because both China and the US signed on to the International Copyright Treaty, Berne Convention, and the Agreement on Trade-related aspect of intellectual property rights, or treaty agreement. This treaty set minimum standards for copyright regulation. So I believe this made the China and the US copyright not substantial difference. For China, for copyright in China, China has no equivalent to the American doctrine of fair use, which stipulate that you can reproduce a copyright work without permission if it falls under a range of accepted categories, such as parodies or education materials. So in this way, this make it harder to identify what is the fair use in copyright infringements in China, and it much lacks to enforce copyright law in Chinese society. Even though people in China has improved on the copyright protections, there are still some limitations. First limitation is China has a large population size. There are more than 1.3 billion people in China. It is very difficult to implement copyright law because of the country's large population and the limited movie theater tickets and other copyright materials cannot satisfy the need of large population. This will drive fans to look for pirate DVDs and other pirate materials. A report by the International Intellectual Property Alliance found that 90% of the DVDs distributed in China are authorized copies. And the large population also make a lot of people have the same names. This will raise problems when they register for commercial trademarks with their names. For example, Yao Ming against Yao Ming. Two Yao Ming have fought for commercial trademark for 9 years, from 2004 and 2013. The first Yao Ming is a CEO and the owner of a textile company. The second Yao Ming is well known as a famous basketball player. The second Yao Ming had asked the Chinese government not to permit the first Yao Ming to use the name of Yao Ming for business. However, the first Yao Ming claimed that its company had registered the name of Yao Ming as its trademark prior to the second Yao Ming's. As a result, the Chinese court granted the second Yao Ming the first Yao Ming to use the name of Yao Ming solely for textile products and must maintain a good reputation. The second limitation is the digital world has expanded the opportunity for theft. Based on the Becker rational model, when the expected value of benefits exceed the probability adjusted cost of punishment, a person makes a rational choice to cheat. Becker rational model applies in the situation of copyright infringement too, because the digital world has made the copyright thieves harder to be caught, and the copyright laws in China did not punish seriously. Therefore, the expected value of benefits exceed the probability adjusted cost of punishment in most of copyright infringement. In conclusion, the copyright protection is improving in China, but there still are some limitations and the rooms to improve. The reason I choose this topic is that I'm from China. I know more about Chinese copyright protections, and I also want to remind other people or want to tell other people that China has improved a lot in copyright protection. And I believe the situation will be better in the future because more Chinese people will be educated and willing to enact the copyright law and trained to be ethical. Here are some references I use for this presentation, and I welcome every people to look at if they are interested. Thank you for listening my presentation.